Finn could hardly concentrate on his math problems. He kept looking up over as the fascinating little man explored Finn's room. Wullie could climb up electrical cords with ease and use drawer handles and ledges like an experienced mountain climber. He was fearless at jumping. From the height of the bed or a chair, he simply dived off and rolled over athletically when he hit the floor. But after climbing to the top of Finn's bookcase, a good 6 feet off the ground, Wullie used a different technique. He looked for a pile of clothes in the centre of the room and took a running jump off the bookcase in that direction. As soon as he was airborne, he turned to stone, landing with a heavy thump amid the clothes, before coming to life again, picking himself up and dusting himself off. Wullie found lots to amuse himself in the room. He was especially interested in the rubber rat that towered above him, and with the collection of Confederate and Union tin soldiers that he found in a drawer. He picked one of them up and waved it at Finn. "Psst! Do you ever play with these any more?" he said. Finn shook his head. "No, they don't do much. I was thinking of giving them away or swapping them with one of my friends." "Ah, I'll keep that in mind then," Wullie said with a mischievous grin. Wullie climbed onto Finn's desk and strutted around like a tiny general surveying a battlefield. His little tackety boots tapped along the surface of the desk with energetic purpose. He held up the test sheet of Latin vocabulary, then went off looking for something to write with. He selected one of the smaller pencils from Finn's Babylonian fort, held it in both hands and began writing on the back of the Latin test. "What are you doing?" Finn whispered. "I'm giving you a wee extra Latin test on the back." Finn was horrified. "You're kidding! I hate Latin. I'm hopeless at it. You should give it to Hadley. She would ace it. Hadley aces all her tests." "Hadley? She's my best friend. She lives next door." "Ah, and she's a wee smarty pants, is she?" "Well, she's not a teacher's pet or anything. She's really cool. But she is smart." Wullie kept writing. "She may be smart, but I doubt if she'll be able to translate this without my help," he chuckled. "Don't bet on it." Wullie finished writing, then walked over to read Finn's Mesopotamia essay. "Tut, tut, tut. You've a grand imagination, Finn, but this is not exactly historically accurate, is it?" Finn was offended. "How do you know?" "Oh, I've travelled wide and far, my boy. I spent a great couple of months in Babylon once. Man, that's gone back a while. You should see the piles of garbage and rotten vegetables they leave in the alleys next to the bazaar. Now that was the biggest Mesopotamia I ever saw." Wullie wheezed with laughter. "You're kidding, right? You can't be that old." Wullie turned serious. "As old as the earth, son. As old as the rocks. I've seen more things than I care to remember, but I remember them all anyway. Besides, you learn a lot being used as a paperweight. I've been left alone in many's a library or a study for days on end. The Babylonians and Huns weren't around at the same time. The Babylonians had their heyday from about 1894 BC to about 539 BC, if my memory serves." Finn sat up and stared at the little man. "That is totally amazing. How can you remember all those dates?" Wullie slammed shut a book on the desk. "Of course I can't remember them, you silly wee tumshy. It says it right here in your book. You should try reading it sometime." Finn picked up a sock and threw it at Wullie. "You're the cheekiest kidder I have ever met," he laughed. "I never know when to take you seriously." "Oh, you'll know that all right. I'll make that clear when the time's ready. It wouldn't have been the Huns that the Babylonians were fighting, I know that much. The Huns lived further north. They were much later, about 400 AD or thereabouts. They were bad lads. I always tried to avoid them," he said, with a twinkle in his eye. "I am really impressed, Wullie," Finn said. "Maybe you could write my essay for me." "Oh, no, laddie. You're the one that needs to get smarter, no me." Have you finished those mathematics problems yet? I'm on the last one. A door creaked open elsewhere in the house. Put that light out, Finn. No, I'm not kidding. It was David McDougall, Finn's dad. He was trying to sound mad, but Finn could tell that his mom had put him up to it. Finn flipped out the light and opened the curtains. The moon was full and shone right into the bedroom now that the rain clouds had passed. There was almost enough light to see without a flashlight. Wullie pulled himself up the curtains and got back onto the windowsill. He sat on one of the rocks in Finn's collection. From the inside of his jacket he produced a tiny pipe, which he began to fill from a little pouch. Finn was horrified. "You don't smoke, do you?" Wullie scowled at him. "What? You think it might stunt my growth?" He gave a wheezy laugh and started coughing. "Well, it certainly isn't helping your throat or your voice," Finn said. "I just know that smoking is really bad for you, and my mum will go nuts if she smells it. She'll think it was me." Wullie continued filling his pipe. "You're not a very gracious host. You're supposed to be making me feel comfortable. Come on, open this window here and I'll sit on the outside ledge. The breeze will carry the smoke away." Finn did as he was asked, anxious not to offend his strange new companion, whose moods could change in a heartbeat. Wullie perched himself on the edge of the open window, facing inside the room. He cupped the pipe bowl in his left hand, brought his right hand near to it and began snapping his fingers. Tiny sparks flew off and got sucked into the pipe bowl. In seconds, plumes of smoke began to arise from the little man's mouth. "That is so cool," Finn said. "How do you do that?" "I'm a funny mixture of rocks, right enough. I've got some flint here near the surface of the palm of my right hand. Comes in handy now and again." Wullie sucked on the pipe contentedly. The smoke drifted back into the bedroom. "Ugh! Phew!" Finn wailed. "That is disgusting. It smells like cow dung." "Oh, your neb seems to work better than your lugs, I'll say that," Wullie said stiffly. "Do you not like the smell?" "It's horrible. How can you stand it?" "Och, away and blether, boy. You don't know what you're talking about. This is some of the best cowdie you can get anywhere. It's made early in the year back in Wigtonshire, just after the cows have been eating the first fresh spring clover. You can smell the sea breezes that brought the soft rain over from Ireland to water the grass. It's just perfect." Finn coughed. I'm sorry, but you're going to have to put it out, or I'll need to close the window." Wullie looked kindly at his new companion. "Go ahead and shut the window then, son. You're needing some sleep. I'll just sit outside and finish my pipe. You get a grand view of the water free up here." So as Wullie-The-Mahaar-Gome looked out over Elliot Bay from a high window ledge in Magnolia, Finlay James Murray McDougall lay back on his pillow and fought back waves of sleepiness. The tiny man was silhouetted by the moon, the smoke from his pipe curling up into the night sky. This had been the strangest day in Finn's young life. It was like a dream. He just hoped it wouldn't all be gone in the morning.